Hi, this is Francisco Bujan from vitalcoaching.com, and we are talking about spiritual power, happiness, joy, pleasure for life, etc. The topic I would like to cover today is a very sensitive one. It's called positive anger. Now, when it comes to negative emotions and positive emotions, very often within our mind or within your mind, you will make a very strict and very clear difference, right? You can identify what we call positive emotions and what we call negative emotions. When you have a negative emotion, for instance, anger or jealousy or frustration, very often the desire or the need which comes from within is really to suppress, to try to hold it back, to try to take it away. And today we are going to explore something else. And it is really the idea that actually behind what we call a negative emotion, there is actually a very positive energy, which is simply a desire to break through, a desire to change. Now, we will focus really on the idea of anger because it's a very, very positive one. It's a very good one to explore. Now, when it comes to anger, when you realize that you have been angry lately, maybe in a different type of situation, how did you react to it? What was your emotional reaction to it? You see yourself feeling angry, but at the same time there is a feeling of guilt coming from within. There is a feeling that this emotion should not happen, and most of the times what you do is simply try to suppress. You really try to put a lid on it. Now, what we want to do is simply look at anger really from another perspective and realize that actually behind anger there is very often a very positive energy. Imagine anger like being a fire waking up from within, which is really calling for renewal, for change. It's like a little bit a volcano, lava within a volcano, trying to break through really through the rocks and really pushing pressure to the surface. The reason why anger feels like pain or feels like a disturbing moment is most of the times because anger is calling for change. Something is shifting in the mind, and this is why the way your mind interprets this energy is through what we call a negative emotion. But now try to shift this and imagine, for instance, that instead of trying to suppress anger, you actually listen to it. When there is pain, physical pain happening in your body, what do you do? I mean, for instance, if you have pain in your feet, you feel that there is some pain on your feet, what you will do is simply check your shoes, check if something is hurting, and actually do something about it. With anger, you can have the same kind of reaction. It means that you can check actually the sources of this anger rather than trying to suppress them. If you feel pain on your physical body, you can try to suppress this physical pain or really listen to the pain and see where it's coming from and do something about it. So this is a wiser, I think, attitude towards anger and towards any negative emotion. It is the idea of listening to where it comes from and try to listen to the message which is behind that. You will notice that the moment you do that, the moment you start listening, everything changes because you actually start partnering with this source of energy rather than trying to suppress it. And the truth, what I believe really is happening is that in most situations when anger is coming to the surface, it is really a liberation movement. It is something which calls for a sense of inner freedom, a sense of change. Something wants to break through, and anger is the way your mind interprets this source of energy or this what is happening at that moment. Okay, this is a very, very new way which is emerging lately. More people are talking about this. It is about the positive side of what we could call negative emotions. And this forces us to look at things in a slightly different way. Rather than talking about right and wrong, positive and negative, we talk just about the emotion which comes to the surface and the desire to use it in a positive way. Now, what does it mean to use anger in a positive way? Well, obviously you don't want to hurt yourself or you don't want to hurt anybody else. If you turn anger into a very destructive process, and most of the times you are going to generate something which is not very positive and actually reaching the target of what you want to have at that moment. So what you want to do is very simple. You want to channel anger in a creative way and in a positive way. For instance, you can go and channel your anger physically through exercise, and it's a way of digesting this excess of energy. Another way is to go into a creative process. For instance, you can really use this anger as a form of fire to help you break through a challenge and create something new. And you will notice that the moment you start using anger that way, rather than simply trying to suppress it, trying to put a lid on it, your perspective on what you consider your negative emotions will radically shift, because the way you will look at it is simply as a source of energy. Your mind and your body, your being is really trying to tell you something, and what you want is really to use this energy in a positive way to actually move and take a step forward. Does that make sense? I mean, experience it and try to see it from this perspective. If you feel that you cannot suppress a negative emotion, that suppressing simply doesn't work, then try to turn it around and start with simple negative emotions like anger or frustration or something like that. Try to listen to it and see really what the message is behind this emotion coming to the surface. And once you get really good at it, then you can use it in this kind of negative emotions in other contexts. And again, the goal is not to propagate this negative emotion. The goal is to understand what is really happening, why it comes to the surface, and what you can do about it. If this negative emotion is really calling for change, for instance, if you have too tight shoes on your feet which really hurt, what you will do is get a bigger size, right? So you can you can listen to a negative emotion in exactly the same way. If anger is coming to the surface in your mind or in your life, then listen to it and try to understand what the causes, the real causes of it are, and also understand that maybe behind this impulsion there is actually a very positive source of energy which simply wants to give you more happiness, greater space, more freedom, etc. Okay? You take care, and if you need more on this, again, visit vitalcoaching.com. This is where this video comes from, and I'll be looking forward to help you further with this. Take care for now, and bye-bye.